Apologies for that technical mix-up. Now, telecommunication operators under the Association of Licensed Telecommunication Operators of Nigeria have proposed a 40% hike in call, SMS, and data tariffs. The operators said the decision has become necessary considering the rising cost of doing business in the country. In a letter to the Nigerian Communications Commission, NCC, the group said the fee for calls will increase from 6 naira 40 kobo to 8 naira 95 kobo, while the price cap for SMS will increase from 4 naira to 5 naira 61 kobo. The association added that the telecommunications industry had been financially challenged by an economic downturn that occurred during the COVID-19 pandemic in 2020 and now the ongoing Russia-Ukraine war. It noted that the war had resulted in a 35% increase in their operating expenses due to an increase in energy cost. Alton, as the association is known, added that the introduction of the 5% excise duty on Telcos services has heightened the burden of multiple taxes and levies in the industry. Today, we look at the proposal by Nigerian telcos to increase fees by 40%. This is Business Edge. I'm Tolulokwe Adeleru-Balogun. And joining me now is Adeleru-Balogun. He's the president of the National Association of Telecoms Subscribers. Adeleru, welcome to Business Edge. Thank you so much for joining me.
It's been a pleasure. Thank you very much. It's a pleasure joining you.
All right. So let's start with what we know apparently was in the letter from Alton to the NCC. And in that letter, the Association of Licensed Telecom Operators of Nigeria said that it was asking for a 40% increase in what they charge for calls, text, and data. The association cited the rising cost of doing business as being responsible for this hike. Now, many people are not going to be very happy to hear this, but let us know what you understand in terms of the factors that make up the cost that will affect consumers in the long run.
Well, quite honestly, I must say that I don't think for now they have any justification, Alton, to increase any tariff. Why do I say so? Only about a few weeks back, that's when diesel costs, just started skyrocketing, so to say. The increase just started about a few weeks back. But prior to that is the fact that there has been, because of this SIM stuff, there's been a lot of reduction on their revenue. On their sales. So that has actually impacted on, the membership. The mobile network operators' revenue. However, I'm saying that, or we are saying that, the moment we conclude this missing thing, and then the 198 million subscribers are fully on board, revenue will come back. Currently, there is close to 71 million subscribers that are still not linked, and meaning they cannot make calls. And by extension, they are losing revenue. And that is what is prompting Alton to say, look, we need to increase prices.
Okay, so beyond that, because you've talked about non-NIN linked SIM lines as we know it now, and of course with that happening, people are not able to pay, and of course the reduction coming from the COVID-19 pandemic. But Alton has also pointed out the high cost of diesel to operate their businesses, of course, which we know that's because the national grid rarely works. The power holding company of Nigeria and the associated, of course, discos continue to struggle to provide adequate power. So these masts that we see are powered by diesel. You also have incessant harassment, and that comes from some of the local communities and areas. And then Alton also talked about the frivolous taxes and the levies imposed on them by all manners of agencies from the 3 tiers of government, both federal, state, and local. Those are very documented issues that would definitely affect the operating environments for anyone in the country. So how do you respond to that in terms of it being a valid reason for this increase?
Well, we appreciate the fact that some of these telecom companies do face these challenges. But again, that is for the regulator to actually come in, and government. Multiple taxes. For instance, I also know that I think Kogi State, they are trying to tell them to pay all sorts of tax, and that they are going to actually block them and shut them down in the state. Sorry, government should understand that telecom is the only hope of the masses to be in business, to communicate, to be happy amidst all these things we're suffering here in Nigeria. You now want to increase the cost of that again? Sorry, governments should ensure that they allow the telecoms operators to, for God's sake, breathe. It is government that is overtasking them. 25 and 30 several taxes they pay. And it is government paying lip service to some of these taxes, and they're not addressing it. They should come up. Rather, the next thing you are going to hear that they want to increase this tax. The other day, early last year, there was a move to increase taxes on telecoms, which we know that already every recharge card you buy comes with a tax. There's VAT there again. So they should please leave the telecom operators alone to serve Nigerians. And for us, we are saying that it is government that is actually making the operating environment for telecom operators so hard to serve subscribers.
So I want to get this straight. Now, we also know that the sector has constantly grown, of course, since its advent in 1999 up to date now, and it's been profitable for business owners. In fact, they've declared record dividends often for their shareholders. Is your association asking that the telecoms operators in Nigeria bear the brunt of some of the losses they have for the time being, at least, given, of course, the years of profitability that they have enjoyed?
Well, in the meantime, yes, because diesel cost really started, being hiked only in the last this year. And they shouldn't just come just like that to say, look, because of this increase, what if there's a government policy, if, citizens now cry out and say, okay, for telecom operators or for a particular sector of the economy, let us at least reconsider our stand on some of these policies. It is just not sufficient for them to, everyone knows that diesel prices have gone up, but how long ago? So they should, for God's sake, for now, not just think of any price increase because of cost of diesel. Yes, whatever they are facing are business challenges. There are several base stations. These are business challenges, and they should also look up to government. Again, government and the regulator should ensure that they are not overtaxed. Every state government, everybody is looking at telecoms to tax almost out of existence, and that is not right. So, government, for instance, has also introduced this same main thing, which is also reducing their revenue, their earnings. So imagine, the main point right now that we know is that 70-something million subscribers are still not linked, and this is affecting their revenue. They can't make ongoing calls. They can't originate calls from their phones, meaning that they are bad. And that is serious loss of revenue. That is about a third of their total business. What do you call it? It's a third of all their subscribers. So imagine losing a third of your business. That is a lot, and this is just because of this same main thing. Again, we are also using this forum to at least appeal to Minister Pantami, leave these things, lift it, give us another 3 to 6 months extension so that at least every Nigerian will be linked to the NIN. So if we get that, revenue will come back to the operators, and then there won't be any need to increase any prices of telecoms anymore.
All right. So you've used this opportunity to ask the Minister of Communications here in Nigeria to extend the NIN registration so that telcos can also continue to make money and they can likely take this 40% tariff increase off the table. But I also want to ask you, how involved are you in the conversations? While Alton representatives have said they didn't want this to become a media situation, that letter to the NCC has leaked, and we don't know when the NCC will reply and what the reply from the NCC will be. But has there been engagement between organizations such as your own and that of the telecommunications providers? Have you been sitting down at the table over this proposed tariff increase?
You see, unfortunately, it is government that should actually initiate these things. They just can't, the regulator just cannot just say, yes, Alton, sorry, we're increasing, without the subscribers who have never been invited to any meeting. It is not our initiative to increase prices. It is the initiative of the regulator to say, look, you have proposed, Alton is saying, yes, we want to increase prices. The regulator should be fair. It should be an impartial arbiter. So it should call officers, the subscriber representatives and the mobile network operators to a table. Okay, this is the thing we are suffering. This is why we are saying we want to increase. And then we can also tell government and at least provide solutions to these things.
All right. So in the midst of this conversation, the Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission actually yesterday gave approval to 6 power distribution companies to increase tariffs. And it looks like Nigerians should be prepared to part with more of their money for essential services. So we asked Nigerians what they thought about the proposed 40% tariff increase on calls, SMS, and data across board. And this is what they had to say.
That is too bad. That is too bad because for them to increase their data tariff or whatever, it's too bad.
Well, in this government, everything has been increasing. Even the water we are drinking has increased. So I'm not surprised if that one to increase.
It's another show of madness because one is going to increase, add to the burden of the masses. You see, what some people are still managing, some people can't even afford to buy credit. They keep on borrowing. You understand what I'm saying? From the provider. And they pay until when they have money. Now you want to increase the tariff. Well, it's going to increase, add more to their burden.
Instead of increasing it, they're supposed to even reduce the tariff. It's supposed to be pay as you use or pay as you go.
Fuel is increasing, everything is increasing, and there's no consumer increase in salaries and that. So I don't know where we are going in this country, but it is what it is.
People are adjusting anyway. People are not buying data like they used to do before, or they say, borrow me this one, give me this and that. So if there's increment, people will adjust again. Well, I'm not saying there should be increment, mind you. So, but if there is, people will adjust. So that is basically the reality,
So, Mr. Ogunbanjo, you heard from Nigerians there. Some have said, of course, they are not surprised that there's some kind of increments coming in. Someone has also said that Nigerians will just adjust. But what we do know, as you said earlier, there are millions of lines right now currently not linked, and that the telco sector is a critical sector for Nigeria. The informal business sector is estimated to account for nearly around 65% of the Nigerian economy and depends largely on the ease that telecommunications affords. So tell us, with this new proposed tariff, what do you think the consequences will be for Nigeria's informal sector? What will the consequences be for most Nigerians?
Sincerely, it's going to affect a lot of Nigerians negatively. Telephone is now the business, is now an office. Your phone is now your virtual office. And during COVID, a lot of people were working from home. Doing what? Making use of the internet services. And there you are. It means so many things, like, it is giving you food on the table. you are using it to transact. Every business. Tell me what you want to do without the phone now. Meetings are being held, a lot. So they just want to add more to the poverty of Nigerians. The little thing we normally buy, and then we have the budget. This is how much I want to spend. Now you want to increase that budget by 40%. Is that unfortunate? That is terrible, to say the least. And many Nigerians will again lose business. For now, a lot of companies are winding up. They're closing down because of the unfavorable conditions. Now, individuals that are still managing, again, you now still want to increase prices to stifle their business, to suffocate them. I mean, it's a sad one. So we should please all concertedly to appeal to President Muhammadu Buhari and Minister Pantami to come to the aid of Nigerians, particularly in this time and age. And we're so helpless. They should not, please. And we won't want to, confront. No, we won't want to. So we want to appeal to them. Let out on, please hold on. And then I know that the federal revenue is off now. So let us all concertedly appeal to government. Give us some respite, another 3 to 6 months respite. Remove the NIN same thing now. At least revenue will come back, and then let's see how that goes.
Okay. So I know earlier you mentioned that it was the responsibility of government and the NCC to call the stakeholders to the roundtable on this issue. But I want to know...
Because they're the regulator.
The regulator, yes. I want to know if your organization, as it is, has attempted to have any conversations with the NCC and the ministry on this particular issue. We don't know when they'll respond. We don't know what the response could be. So really, we're looking at what's the engagement on your end with the NCC, with the ministry and other stakeholders on this request by the telcos.
Thank you for the question. You see, the thing is, they originate before they actually, make any policy. What the government should do is to bring all stakeholders on the table. That is normal. But unfortunately here, they don't. We just see these policies, both. They just hand it over. This is what we want. And then you now start to battle. They don't. Look at the same main thing. Nobody called anyone because, again, that was security, it borders on security of the nation. Here we are. This one now borders on our economic survival, the 40% increase. So what excuse would they have not to call us on the table? They are to, it is government everywhere in the world. They are the ones that will originate any stakeholders meeting on any policy that is going to affect the citizenry, in this case, subscribers of telecoms.
Okay. So my final question to you as we wrap up, if the NCC under the ministry was to go ahead and approve this request for a 40% increase.
They won't approve. Sorry.
If they were, let's work in possibilities. If they were to approve this, what is your association ready to do? What options does your association have in possibly contesting this or asking for it to be reversed?
Well, right now, since the news broke, the day before yesterday, I think on Wednesday, we want to all stakeholders, particularly advocacy groups, we want to at least get together and make our position known to government. At least we now will take the initiative and then ensure that we communicate this to NCC and the Minister of Digital Economy.
All right. We'll be watching to see how this plays out. And of course, the communication from your organization and other stakeholders in regards to this. Adeolu Ogunbanjo, thank you so much for joining me on Business Edge.
Thank you for having me.
All right. And at a time where across the continent, food and fuel prices have risen as a result of the crisis in Ukraine, the potential for an added burden on the Nigerian pockets is one that many would not want to hear. Nigerians already pay an estimated over 50% of their income for food, and food inflation is at the highest it's been in a number of years. But now, also, SMS, calls, and data tariffs could increase, and that potential comes right after the National Electricity Regulatory Commission has also approved electricity tariff increase. How much more can Nigerians bear? You're watching Business Edge. Up next is NC 4 to Watch. And we start in Nigeria as we look at a few stories that we're keeping our eyes on. Now, the country's total direct remittances dropped by $119.4 million to $130.12 million as of January 2022 from $249.52 million as of December 2021. This is from the figures obtained from the Central Bank of Nigeria. The development indicates a 48% decline over a period of 1 month. Britain's National Crime Agency has recovered more than $23 million stolen from Nigeria by the country's late military dictator Sani Abacha. An NCA spokesperson did not immediately respond to a query about whether the funds would be ultimately returned to the country. In the past, countries including the United States and Switzerland have repatriated Abacha's loot from there. China has or could possibly head the creditors committee being formed to renegotiate Zambia's $17.3 billion of foreign debt because this would help accelerate the resolution process, according to the Southern African country's finance minister. The Asian nation, whose lenders account for more than 1/3 of Zambia's total external public liabilities, indicated in April that it would join the official creditors committee, breathing life into a process that has stalled. And finally, the South African rand was at 16 rand 03 cents against the dollar in earlier trading today. This is 0.34% weaker than its close on Thursday, when it slumped by close to 4%. The rand continued to trade weaker against the dollar early on Friday, as the greenback firmed ahead of a closely watched U.S. jobs report that is likely to back the case for aggressive monetary policy tightening in the United States. And today's show wraps up this week in African business, finance, and economic stories right here on Business Edge. Don't forget to follow us on social media, download our mobile app, take us with you wherever you go, and of course, watch us on the platforms we are available. 11 a.m. Monday, we have a date as we keep all things focused on Africa. I'm Tolulope Adeleru-Balogun. You have a pleasant weekend.